Welcome to the JCPod. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Porno, and hey, we got some football talk today. Today's schedule is going to be I won't lie to you. I'll just basically explain what's going on. I end up happening to just happen upon some NFL futures that I was watching. I was like, oh. So now, this episode, we're going to talk a little bit of Russell Wilson. Going to talk a little bit of NFL futures, and then I'll probably do her today. My goal, I'm going to probably have a podcast Sunday on probably just strictly baseball, honestly. I'm going to talk to my boy, make sure everything's all good, and if everything's all good, you'll see me on this feed on Sunday. So if you do, that's probably where a lot of the baseball talk will be, but till then, now we're basically just going to talk about some NFL. We might get the NFL news at the end. We'll see how the time goes. If I'm a little short, I'll talk NFL news. If not, if I'm a little long, I'll just leave it where it's at. But yeah, basically we're just going to start with, can Russell Wilson be fixed? Because, man, you want to talk about butt cheeks last year. Holy hell. I looked up his stats again, just so everyone can know. 292 completions on 483 attempts. So that's about 60%. 3,524 yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, this is the same Russell Wilson that the Broncos traded for. And they traded, by the way, Denver traded 3 players and 4 draft picks. 3 players and 4 draft picks for 3,000 yards, for basically 3,500 yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 interception. And there was a stat that, I'll get the scores of the game in a minute. Man, there was a stat that legit, if the Broncos kept Drew Lock and they did what they did this year, they would have been better than they were with Russell Wilson. I mean, you want to talk about a down year of down years. I mean, this Broncos team had so much potential, man. So much potential, and they just couldn't do it. Sorry, I'm trying to find the game log for him. Here we go. So I was trying to pull up the game log. I mean, I'll be honest, they kind of screwed him over. First game starting out in Seattle, they lose 17-16 to start out the year. I mean, truly, it was one of those things where he didn't play the worst. I mean, 29 for 42, kind of threw the ball. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, he's a quarterback. That's kind of his job. But yeah, he had 340 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. That was the only issue. So we were kind of watching it. It's like, okay, he's not doing too bad. Mind you, by the way, before I go into this, he ended up being my backup quarterback / my locker room presence quarterback for fantasy. So I watch this guy every year. Especially, I think I did. I've watched him every year. He's been in the NFL, but I watched him all year last year. So I think I got a good feel. So that was the first game. Next game, they beat the Texans 16-9. But at this point, it starts to get a little bit scary. You're like, the Texans aren't. You're just kind of like, okay, I feel like they could have scored a little bit more. Russell Wilson, 14 for 31, 219 yards, touchdown, interception. You're like, man, he didn't do much of anything. And then, so they went 11-10 against the 49ers. I mean, at this point, 16, 9, and 10, or 11 are their points. And another game where Russell, 20 for 30, 184 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So he didn't turn over the ball, but it's just like, this is where you're starting to get into that weird phase. You're like, man, what is going on with them? But right at this point, they won. They're 2-1. So like, okay, maybe the Broncos have it figured out. And then they play the Raiders. They lose 32-23. Finally put up some points. Russell Wilson, 17 for 25, 237, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So you're like, okay. Hey, they're 2-2. They finally had some offense that game. Maybe it's... And then we get the Thursday night game against my Colts, baby. 12-9 barn burner. Absolute barn burner. I'm talking punts galore. It finished like 12-9. Russell Wilson, 2 interceptions. Interception in the game where he missed KJ Hamler bad. Like, if you guys don't remember, that was the play. KJ Hamler was literally wide open standing in front of Russ because Gilmore, I forget what happened exactly. I think Gilmore was covering something, so he was trying to bait him to throw something. It was either way, regardless of what they did. Hamler was wide open. Russell basically just missed him. Completely missed him. And instead, I think he ended up throwing it late. It was either picked off by Gilmore or deflected. That's the play where you remember Hamler slams his helmet on the ground, he loses it. And that's when the whole downfall of the Russell Wilson Broncos started. Because after that loss, they lose in overtime again to the Chargers, beat the Jaguars, They beat the Jaguars 21-17 after losing to the Jaguars 19-16. But then listen to this. This is a losing streak. These are all losses. Lose to the Titans 17-10. Lose to the Raiders this time on 22-16 overtime. Lose to the Panthers. Lose 10-9 to the... And by the way, they lost the Panthers 23-10. They got a little clap right there on offense. Russ, they're 19 for 35, 142 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. I mean, a lot of these games are either no touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, or you had the occasional 2-0, 3-1, 3-1 games. But there's games where, like, it was just bad. You want to talk about Christmas Day? We'll get there in a minute. Yeah, like I said, lost to the... So, basically at this point, they've lost to the Titans, Raiders, Panthers, and Ravens. Lose to the Chiefs 34-28. The Chiefs were the only two good games he really had this year. Like, for example, his Chiefs games, 23 for 36, 247, 26 for 38, 222. Past that, it was a struggle to get him to throw for 222. And he threw for 3 touchdowns. 3, 4... Okay, I want to actually do some quick math real quick. I didn't do this before. I'm just curious. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... Wow. So I just did the math. 10 of his 16 touchdowns came from... 10 of his 16 touchdowns of Russell Wilson came against division opponents. If you want to add the interceptions in there, I mean, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I didn't do this part before. I mean, I would say he's thrown about half his touchdowns, half his interceptions came in the division games. But yeah, I mean, that's just... And then, yeah, right after that Chiefs game... So they lost to the Chiefs that game. He still played good, but they lose to the Chiefs both games. In between losing to the Chiefs, it's lose to the Chiefs 34-28. Get absolutely smoked. Smoked by the Rams on Christmas Day, 51-14. Russ played absolutely awful. Russ ended up missing some games, too. He got a lump on his head from one of the hits that he ended up missing a little bit of games for, but... Yeah, and then they end up winning last game of the season against the Chargers. He goes 13 for 24, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Had a little bit better game, but man, he just truly was awful. Russell Wilson was absolutely crap last year. He was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. So it's one of those things, like I said. He finished with 3,500 yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And, I mean, the thing was, it's like the stats, I wish, like, I could give you stats about, like, that boy looked lost out there. I mean, there's plays where Russell Wilson's literally like doing half circles in the back pocket, trying to roll out left, getting hammered. He's like, there'll be a guy wide open down the seam. He doesn't see him, so he starts to roll out right, take a deep roll out right, and then he just gets drilled in the back because he's not paying attention, loses the ball. He tries to roll out right again because he's looking downfield, not paying attention, gets sacked by the other defensive end. I mean, he seriously, he looked like a baby duck on skates. He looked like a giraffe on skates. He looked like an elephant on rollerblades. Like, you give a spider on rollerblades. I mean, this guy just looked absolutely lost out there. I mean, truly, it was shocking. Like, it was honestly, genuinely shocking how lost and how bad he looked last year. I mean, my goodness, he looked awful. I think it translated to the team, and I want to say, like, partially it's on Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, they fired Nathaniel Hackett, and he didn't improve too much from that point. I mean... But still, I mean, I think he did a little bit better. I just think at that point of the season, it was way too lost. He was doing high knees on the plane that got out. And the team, it took 15 or 16 weeks, I feel like, for the team to finally come out and be like, hey, you need to leave our guy alone, man. Like, he's okay. Because, boy, he was getting cooked in the media because, he's putting on the same Russell Wilson face he always puts on. It's like, we'll be okay. It's like, hey, I'm good, man. I'm the best. Obviously, he didn't say that, but... You know how Russell Wilson was, like, Broncos country, let's ride. Dude wore his own jersey to the practice camp. That's apparently never happened before. I've never seen it before, but for sure, nobody's ever worn their own jersey to the training camp. And then everything just went long last year. Mentally, I felt like physically. Because he's skinnier this year, which is weird because of all the work he's talking about last year, like bringing his shoulder pads on vacation, stuff like that. So it makes me just wonder, like, what's going on. But the biggest thing, I think he's going to definitely have a little bit of a jump because of Sean Payton. That's basically the big question is, will Russell Wilson, the question I wrote down for Russell Wilson, will Russell Wilson play better this year? My answer to this question is yes. How good is it? I don't know. I think he's going to do, I think they definitely will be in contention for the division maybe. The Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo's foot situation, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think that's going to be much of anything. The Chargers, I think they have a chance, but, excuse me, sorry. They have a chance, but, like, I don't know, man. It just feels like the Chargers are going to find a way to charge her like they always do. So I'm a little bit nervous to, just a little bit nervous to take them, you know? It just makes me, if I was like to take the place of that division, like, I don't know if I'd want to take them exactly, but I also think that, I'd probably take the Chiefs, I think, regardless, just to be the safest, because they're the safest option. They've won it, I think, like 5 years in a row now. But regardless, I mean, it's one of those things with Russ where he has to be better this year. I mean, he played so bad last year. So bad last year. I mean, hopefully, I think Sean Payton's offense will hopefully able to help him, like, just feel a little bit more comfortable, maybe add in some more play action, more run game schemes type of stuff, because truly, I mean, Russell Wilson looked completely terrible last year. I expressed it to you multiple times, like, just truly how bad he was. And I wish I could just take the images from my head and just play them on here, because I have visible images, like that, the Hamler situation. I still see that. Like, I could go to bed at night and still see that. I mean, shout out to that's one of the Colts' 4 wins. By the way, the Colts did beat the Super Bowl champ Chiefs. But, I mean, it's just legit was crazy, honestly. Like, truly just thinking back on it, just how bad he was, man. Like, he was missing open reads. His deep ball that he usually has a little bit of float on. And Denver should have carried a little bit, but that thing was dying, coming short. His moon ball, like I said, was not looking good. I just mean, man. I was like, I wish I could understand what was going on with him, because he was just terrible last year. And there's no way they're going to let him be bad this year. Ben DiNucci is one of the backups. I'm going to double check who the other one is, because I forget off the top of my head. I just looked it up before this, but it's one of those situations. I don't think the Broncos are going to let Russell Wilson be bad this year, because this is Russell Wilson's now second season. And with this being a second season, I mean, this is Sean Payton's first season. Jarrett Stidham, who, if you guys don't remember, last game of the season for the Raiders, maybe even second to last, he played, because they're just going to look at him. He played really good. Devontae Adams had an insane day to end it and everything, and I forget what he did, but the Raiders lit up the scoreboard the 1 or 2 games Stidham played at the end of the season. So it's one of those situations, I think, that if Sean Payton does not like what he sees of Russell Wilson, I don't think he hesitates too quickly to be like, Stidham, get in there. Like, I think Russell Wilson not Russell Wilson, I think Sean Payton will give Russ a decent leash, obviously, but I think it's one of the things, if Sean Payton does not like what he sees, he's going to be like, hey, man, get in there. And he's going to put in Stidham. He's going to bench Russ for maybe just a game. Maybe put him back next game. But it's one of the things, man. Yeah, I don't think Sean Payton's going to mess around, especially if Russ is playing bad. But hopefully he's the guy that can fix Russ, because, I mean, there are some comparisons to Drew Brees and everything that everyone's given and all. So, I mean, hopefully for his case, yeah, we get a chance to do it. Or he gets a chance to play better, because, man, he was bad this year. Bad. So that's probably where I'm going to end the story on Russ, because, yeah, like I said, to my opinion, I think Russ is going to do a little bit better this year. I think his stats are going to, stat-wise, I think he'll do a little bit better. I just don't know how much, just honestly, yeah, I just think that he's going to be better. I don't know how much it's going to translate to the winning and everything. I think they should win an extra game or two. They did last year, obviously, because they were just abysmal last year. Javonte Williams coming back hopefully will help them as well. Maybe if they could sign like a D-Hop or sign a Dalvin Cook to add to it, that would be interesting as well. I think they're going to definitely be adding a little bit. They already upgraded the whole offensive line, which was another issue from last year. So I'm very curious, man. I'm very, very curious to see how this goes with them. So yeah, like I said, last night there's just some NFL futures I saw that I truly just liked. I don't know what it was. I was just listening to I forget who it was. I'm trying to remember who I was listening to. I can't remember who it was. They're just going over some of the NFL futures. So I was just sitting there listening to those odds. I'm like, no way, really? So now it's basically I'm going to give out some of the ones I like. I don't like I said, these are way, way, way too early. Way too early NFL futures, but they're going to get some decent odds here. As you can see, one of the ones I already took is the Colts to win the Super Bowl, which hilariously enough might be the best value bet I'm probably going to get all year, which is crazy to think about, because I don't know if the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. I got them at 2,000. I mean, it's 200 to 1. So I have a little 10 to win 2,000 on them. And now, anytime I go to look at the odds, I can cash out money because it's went down. Now it's plus, instead of being plus 20,000, now it's plus 10,000. And it's been like that, I think, ever since like the day before the draft, I want to say. Either the day before the draft or like a day or two before the draft. Like, it's been like that for a while now. So it's something I feel really awesome about because it's like, okay, like I got the best value I could on it, but like I said, I don't know if the Colts are. I think the Colts might be a little bit far away, so let me not just take away all my credibility with that one. But for example, for the season awards winner, Joe Burrow plus 700 for MVP. I don't mind it at all. I think that's one where, yeah, I just think that's one where he's probably, it's him, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes are favorite with Herbert. I guess technically it'd be fourth, but he's in second place because all three of those guys are tied. He has plus 900. My thing, I just don't think Josh Allen's going to win it this year. He definitely could, obviously, but I just don't think he's going to win it this year. I think that, I just don't know. I just think the Bills are going to have a little bit of an off year. I feel like they've been doing a lot better recently, and that, I just feel weird about that last game, man. The way they lost to the Bengals and the way they looked and the whole Leslie Frazier. The more I hear about Leslie Frazier and him and Sean McDermott butting heads, which didn't seem real, didn't seem like it could happen, but more and more seems real. Between Stephon Diggs asking out, wanting to leave, like, there's a lot going on in that building, man. It has me, it's just too much dissension for me, so Mahomes and Burrow feel like the two safe picks. If I'm going to pick a safe pick, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. A little bit longer odds, Aaron Rodgers plus 1,600. If the Jets have a really, really good season, I could see that being a decent play. I just don't know if I'm going to take it, personally. I'm gonna write it down though. If I was gonna pick an MVP right now, obviously it's way too early. For value wise, I don't mind Rodgers at plus 1,600. I'm probably not gonna take it though. It's probably gonna be quarterback award. Anthony Richardson, you can get 150,000. So I mean, I'm not gonna take a wide receiver or anything. I don't think it's gonna go that far. So I think about Ryan Tannehill is the cutoff for like where you get to the plus 10,000 odds. So I'm gonna probably stay in that zone. I won't lie to you, man. The more I look, Tua plus 1,600 might not be bad. The more I look at it, man, I'm probably going to go Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers. Like, I feel really good about Joe Burrow this year. I think it's one of those things. He even came out and said that Pat's the guy we got to beat. He has some jewelry on him. They just lost to them last year. I think the Bengals have owned them for. The Bengals own them in the regular season. I'm pretty sure they're either like 3-1 or 4-0, something like that. Where it's Joe Burrow's time playing against them. Like it's something where the Bengals own them, but the Chiefs won the biggest game that mattered in the AFC Championship. So I could see a little bit of an AFC Championship rematch where we got Joe Burrow, the season's MVP, but it's not announced yet, going off against Patrick Mahomes because I think the Bengals are going to take another step up this year. Maybe not like in the win record wise. Maybe they only win one win, but I think another year of that group together. I'm very excited to see them. And Tyler Boyd said if Tyler Boyd didn't get hurt, he said himself, if Tyler Boyd doesn't get hurt, that's a whole different game. Yeah, no. In all seriousness, I just think it's going to be probably Burrow, or I think Rodgers is probably like the community pick. So we're going to move on to offensive player of the year. Way too early. I'm not even going to announce that because injuries and everything could change. So I'm going to stay away from the offensive player of the year because I don't really have a feel for that yet. Defensive player of the year, same thing. Coach of the year, same thing. Rookie of the year. Personally, for me, Anthony Richardson at plus 900, I don't mind. That's offensive rookie, by the way. Yeah, I like Anthony Richardson probably there just as like a personal I guess just personal bet, honestly, the best way to put it. B.J. Robinson's plus 300, Bryce Young's plus 400, C.J. Stroud plus 900. So, they're all right there, so I don't see why that's not a bad issue. Will Anderson for Defensive Player of the Year, plus 400. Jalen Carter is plus 750. Tyree Wilson's plus 900. So, I don't know how I feel about that. Not really the most confident in that, honestly, so I'm probably not going to take that. For the conference winners, you can get Chiefs at plus 350, Bengals at plus 500. I don't mind. Might be a little too early to take this, but I'm gonna probably. Yeah, I kind of like the Bengals for the odds they get. Chiefs are definitely there. It's Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals. So I like the Bengals being over the Bills. The Bills are getting a lot of hype. The Jets are right up there too, plus 1,000. They haven't really proved anything yet, so I'm interested to see how they do. Yeah, so I mean, you can get as low as plus 8,500 for the Texans. Ravens are plus 1,000 as well. I just have a lean towards the Bengals this year. I just feel like the Bengals might do something this year. I just feel like maybe this is their year after they've all that adversity and everything. So yeah, my lean probably for the conference for AFC wise, I'm probably gonna lean towards the Bengals to win the AFC as of right now. This is before I've done all like my big deep dive into research. I've done little bits of research here and there so far, obviously, but I haven't done like the deep dive that I'm gonna be doing basically the next week or two as we learn more information, as more stuff comes up. But as of right now, with still some big powers in play like DeAndre Hopkins, Dalvin Cook. I mean, I don't think they're gonna switch a title contender, but say they go to like the Bills, or say like Diop goes to the Bills or something, or goes to the Chiefs. That's gonna, well, I mean, especially the Chiefs. If Diop goes to the Chiefs, that's gonna change how I feel in a heartbeat. It's gonna change it very quickly. But like if he went to the Bills, maybe not as much, but then maybe a little. But yeah, that's probably where I'm feeling AFC wise. NFC, you got the Eagles leading the way, then followed by the 49ers and Cowboys. Seahawks at plus 1,300 won't be a bad value play. They're only going to get better from last year. I don't like how high the Cowboys are, so I'm definitely not taking the Cowboys. Seahawks are probably a lean for me though, for value. Like I said, I'm not gonna bet any of these just yet. I'm just giving out the feelers of ones. If I were to bet today, I probably would. I'm gonna decide a little bit longer over the weekend, and then probably Tuesday, Thursday next week, I'll give out the futures I did end up taking so far. But I don't mind them. The Giants at 2,200 if you want to go on a deep feeler. You got Vikings at like plus 1,400. I don't think it's going to just basically, this is me going down the list. I don't think it's going to be the Cardinals. I don't think it's going to be the Bucks, Rams, Panthers, Commanders, Falcons, Bears. I don't think it's going to be any of them. Giants, probably not. Packers, probably not. Saints, way too high. Vikings, probably not. So, I mean, Seahawks, Lions, Cowboys, 49ers, or Eagles are who I feel like in the NFC as of right now. Just like, based on what I saw last year going into this year, those are the teams I feel the best about. So, I mean, at 13-1, why not take the Eagles? I mean, the Seahawks. Why not? That's truly, you can also bet on the number 1 seed. I'm not going to go that far. That's what I like for the conference. And then I'm going to end this with divisions real quick, just to end it off. But like I said, so to give it a futures for MVP, I'm probably going to take Burrow and Rodgers in that order if I'm going to take them for sure on Burrow. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Offensive Rookie of the Year and MVP are probably going to be bets you see on Tuesday for sure. Like, I'm probably going to bet Burrow by the end of the show. I'm probably going to bet AR-15, my boy Anthony Richardson, who I guess is 5 now, so AR-5. I think those two for sure I'm probably going to bet for MVP Rookie of the Year. Conference winner, I might sprinkle Bengals and Seahawks over the weekend, I'm not too sure, but this is where it gets interesting. Holy hell. So this line jumped a lot. This used to be at like plus 400. So the division winners for the AFC East, Bills are leading the way, and Bills and Jets are leading the way. So at 130 plus 250. So immediately right away, if I'm picking divisions, I'm going to take the Jets over the Bills. I think the Bills can still make the playoffs, but I don't know. I think they're just going to have a weird year, but I'm not probably going to bet this division in general. If I was, it'd be Jets or Dolphins. But the reason I don't want to take Dolphins is I don't know if Tua's going to be able to stay healthy all year, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking there. And I kind of don't want to stress a ticket with Tua's health on it. And it's the same thing with the Jets. Like, the Jets are getting all this hype and everything, but Aaron Rodgers could play like he played last year. The offensive line for the Jets, not the best. Honestly, the more I've learned, I'm like, oh man, that line is kind of scary. But I mean, they could be good. Could be good. It's just still early. We don't know. So if I was to lean the AFC East, probably going to lean towards the Dolphins or Jets. Yeah, that's just a general lean. Patriots, I mean, plus 750. I'm not going to tell anybody not to take the Patriots as a value play. You never know. I'm not going to personally, but I mean, 750 is decent value for the Pats. I just don't. They finally have an offensive coordinator, so I mean, why not? I'm just not going to happen for me. The Bengals are plus 125. They'd win it 3 years in a row. That's the first time it's happened since 1995 through 97 Steelers, and that's when the Colts and Texans were in a division. So in the AFC North, since it got roughed up and rugged, never ever has there been a team to win it 3 years in a row. And the AFC North of these teams. So, I mean, that's not bad. I'll probably lean towards the Bengals or Ravens. Steelers at plus 500 isn't bad, but I'm not going to touch the Browns at plus 390. Not touching them at all. So, if it was me, it'd be Bengals at plus 125, Ravens, or Steelers. I would probably go Bengals, and then if I wanted value, Steelers. If I wanted, I just don't know. I like the Ravens, but I just don't know if they're going to win the division. I mean, they could. But with everything that's going on with Lamar and everything, I just don't. I need to see it. I just feel like the Bengals are a little bit ahead of them. AFC South, you got the Jags at -160, Titans at +380, Colts at +500, Texans at 800. I won't lie to you, I'm going to just bet the Colts straight up. Obviously, that's a fan one. 100% fan one. I don't recommend anybody does that, but that division's going to be a crapshoot. Trevor Lawrence is, I think, good, but he had some plays last year where I'm like, maybe he should have. I just don't think he's the best quarterback in the world ever. I think he's good, but I think there's still some stepping up he could do. So, I mean, and it's the Jaguars. I know the Jaguars were good last year, but everyone all of a sudden acting like this Jaguars is this brand new team. I want to see it again. Because we saw this in 2015 where they had a little run, or 2017, whichever. I think it was 2017. Where they basically had a little run, and then all of a sudden they fell off the face of the earth again for a few years. Obviously, their quarterback situation was a little bit worse with Blake Bortles, but I think Trevor Lawrence is, like I said, I think he's good, and I think they'll be okay, but for -160 in the division, I wouldn't want to put money on that. I don't want to put money on the Titans, who might have Will Levis starting halfway through the season if stuff falls apart. So value-wise, I like the Colts at +500 because they're the most, I know it's going to sound funny to say, but I would say they're the most, even killed of all the teams. I think they're returning the most. The Texans are still trying to figure out who they are. They just had the first pick back-to-back years, basically. I know they didn't. They had the second pick, I think, this year, and they might have had, the second last year. But they're basically in the top 3 these last 2 years. So they're just trying to figure it out a little bit. And like I said, the Titans, I don't know what's going on with them. There's a little bit of chaos in the ranks. So that's where I lean. The AFC West, Chiefs lead at -160. Raiders are +1,200. Chargers are +300. Broncos are +500. I'm just not going to bet this division. I truly don't know. I would go lean towards Chiefs if I wanted to because they own the division right now. But I could see the Chargers just winning it by 1 game. Maybe if they just find a way to have Herbert has a magical season. The Broncos, if they could get coached right, they have a really good defense. So if they could figure out the offense, +550 for them isn't bad at all. But yeah, that's the Chiefs division to lose, so it's really, really hard to see that. So yeah, so far the only division I'm gonna So hold on, I want to write this down real quick so I can have something. So basically, my feels right now for the division winners are Jets or Dolphins for their division. I'm leaning towards Jets, but I'm going to do more research before I like it. For sure, the Colts and the AFC South, just because that division's a crapshoot. Might as well bet on my team at good odds. And then the Bengals Ravens, I'm going to choose between them. Probably going to lean Bengals to win their division, just because I like the Bengals this year. I think they're going to be one of my. The way I'm doing research and everything right now, I'm falling more and more in love with this Bengals team as we go for this year. So for the NFC East now, it's the Eagles -105, Cowboys +175, Giants +700, Commanders +1,000. I think this is the Eagles division to lose. It's either Eagles or Giants for me. I'm not going to bet the Cowboys. I've been saying it for weeks now. And I can't wait to say it. I think that this is the Cowboys last year together with Dak, with Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys, as we know, since 2015-16-ish, I think this is the last year of them. Dak's probably going to be moved on after this season. I just think it's going to be a whole brand new thing. So them at +175, I just don't want to take it because I think they're moving into a new era of the team where they're going to have a new quarterback. Feel a little bit different than the team I grew up with, going from high school to college and everything. I just think the Dak era of the Cowboys, I think that's probably done here soon. So I'm just not gonna take them. So yeah, I don't like the Commanders at all either. So I would just naturally lose me with the Giants and the Eagles left. And Eagles are probably the smart play with how good they are, but for value at +700, the Giants aren't bad. So those would be my 2 leans there. NFC North, the Detroit Lions are favored at +145. Vikings are second at +270. Packers +350. Bears +420. I don't think I take anybody here either. Just looking at this, man, I want to take the Lions, but the Lions being favored scares me. The Vikings at +270 probably wouldn't be bad. I'd probably say Vikes or Lions. Vikes or Lions. I just don't like the I don't like the Packers' Jordan Love. I want to see more of him first. He could be really good, but the way they played last year with Aaron Rodgers, I know most parts of Aaron Rodgers fault a little bit, but man, I think the Packers are just gonna have a few more turnovers than they did with Rodgers. So that could screw them over a bit. So I don't know. So yeah, basically between the Vikings and Lions, but I probably won't place a bet on that. Honestly, those are the 2 I'm in between. For the NFC South, this is one of the ones where I'm like, holy hell. The Saints are favored. They think Derek Carr is going to do that at +135. The Falcons are +230. Panthers +340. Bucks +600. This is one that I feel really, really good about. Take the Falcons or Panthers. I'm probably going to go Falcons. But Panthers isn't bad either for like the odds for plus 340. That's not bad at all. But plus 230 on the Falcons. I think the Falcons might be favored by the time the season starts. I just truly do not see how Derek Carr. I don't know how Derek Carr is going to change the Saints that much, especially with the whole stuff with Dennis Allen. Like Dennis Allen, there's four or five games last year Dennis Allen could have won that that's just like, he didn't do the best of job. The Saints just felt weird last year. And they're basically the same team, and they're holding out hope for Michael Thomas. That's just a lot of bad combos for one team to be leading the division. I just don't want to even deal with it. Falcons, I like the way what they're building. They're going, and they're great. I forget who said it on the Bill Simmons podcast, but this guy said it best. They're zagging while everyone else, they're zigging while everyone else is zagging. They're building in the trenches. They're out toughing people. They're building in the run game. Like, there was a few games they won last year simply on the fact they were just beating teams down in the ground with the run game, and it was impressive. I mean, they truly are a team that. Sorry, I was writing down the last one. They're truly a team that is like good, and like they have a chance next year. I think they have a real chance to be good. It's all going to be down to Desmond Ridder can figure it out. The way it seems is he was starting to figure it out a little bit last year. He just needs to catch up with the speed and everything. If he does that, man, that's going to be a special team. So then now with the NFC West, and yeah, that's probably going to be where I end the show. We got the 49ers leading at minus 165, Seahawks plus 220, Rams plus 850, Cardinals plus 2400. Take out the Rams, take out the Cardinals between Seahawks and 49ers. I'm going straight value. Give me the Seahawks. They're basically bringing the whole team, same team back last year, except with a few upgrades. They got another receiver this year. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Woo! Now that's a receiving core. That's a pretty good receiving core. I tell you what. They still got some young guys in the defense that played well last year. They're coming back. Got a few more young guys. Don't forget, they got a lot of picks from the Broncos. They got the Broncos pick from last year. They had two like top 10, top 12 picks, and they did really well with it. Yeah, my lean is the Seahawks there. I like this continuity with them. I like the way Geno played last year, and I want to see if they can do it again. And I'm only taking the Seahawks simply because of the fact that San Francisco 49ers quarterback situation. Because especially if Brock Purdy gets announced, the odds will go up a little bit more, so that'd make me. Then I'd be like, man. But on the off chance that Brock Purdy's hurt and they have to start Sam Darnold or Trey Lance to start the season, to get the Seahawks to plus 200 this early, they should probably be favored because of this 49ers quarterback situation. The books just aren't going to do that because the money would flood in on the 49ers. But yeah, it's one of those things, fan. Like, the Seahawks should be probably favored in that case. But that's where I'm going to end it today. Like I said, get a little Russell Wilson story, a little bit of NFL futures. Tomorrow, Captain by Hook with a red beard, the usual Friday stuff. This Sunday, look out for a pod. I'm going to try to talk a little baseball with him, get a little bit of what's going on around the diamond. But other than that, man, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see everybody on Friday. And then if not, I'll potentially see everybody on Sunday or Tuesday.